Alright guys, welcome back to the channel. We're going to be working on the Corolla again today. So we're actually going to be dropping the transmission and getting all the control arms and all the new suspension in it. So we do have the C60 trans that's going to be going onto the 1ZZ. So I know I did say in the last video we are going to be 2ZZ swapping this car, but that's going to be later on in the future. Right now what we're going to be doing is dropping the trans to get it ready for the C60 swap. Hopefully it's not going to take too long. We'll see how long it takes. I just want to get everything taken apart today, not install anything, maybe the control arms, and we'll see how long it takes. So yeah, that's what we're going to be doing today, so let's get started. All right, excuse the yellowness outside. We got pretty bad air quality warning here. Yeah, we're going to be dropping the trans. The C60's over here. I know it's a little bit rough condition, so we are going to need to put some new stuff on it. This one, we're going to need to take it out the automatic. Can't have an automatic track car, so we're going to be swapping it over, of course. We got the canopy under here. It's just to keep myself in some shade, even though it's not really sunny outside, but still nice. I'm going to go ahead and just clean up my, my service cart here, clean up some of my tools, and as soon as all that's done, we're going to get started. Also, before I start, I did put a bucket seat in the car, my red NRGs, and they do use the original Toyota bases. So I can show you guys how we're going to do that when we do the passenger side seat. It's pretty simple, actually. I'm going to show you guys how to do it in a later video. But yeah, bucket seat in the Corolla looks good, pretty comfortable. Seating position's a little bit high, but it's not too bad. But I'll get into that in another video. All right, so I didn't really film it, but the transmission's out. It took us probably, I want to say, 4 or 5 hours to get it out. I mean, it was my first time doing it on a Toyota, so a couple things that got in the way. But I figured it out. It's all good. It's all out. The automatic is sitting here. Flywheel's off. Everything's off. We got our C60 sitting there. So basically what I need to do now is... I'm still waiting on parts for the C60, so once I get all the parts, then we're going to start actually putting it in. But for now, what I'm going to be doing is I'm just going to have a quick look over. I'm going to see if the rear main seal needs replacing. It doesn't look like it, but it's already here, so I might as well replace it. We might need to put a pilot bearing in there as well. The other thing is I need to do the control arms now that bolt down there is accessible, because when the transmission's in the car, you do need to lift it up a little bit to access that control arm bolt. So now it should be accessible. I should be able to get it out relatively easy. Both sides need to do it. We have all the parts in the back of the car here that we need to swap over. So we got the control arms, actually a whole front end kit in here, sway bar bushing, sway bar links, all that good stuff. Now, off camera, I did do a little something here. So I did put in the manual shifter piece here. This is actually off of a RAV4. It actually bolts right up to the 8th gen Corolla chassis, which is surprising. I wasn't expecting it, but it does work. I just got to see about the cables and everything, if they're going to fit. So apparently I need to figure out if the transmission has forward-facing cables or rearward-facing cables, something that I was reading on the forums. So I just need to figure out which cables I need to get. So I'm going to have to see here which cables I'm going to require for this. The other thing I do need to do is swap the mounts, because these ones are all crusty. The original ones don't look crusty, and I'm hoping that they're the same mounts. I don't know. I'm going to find out. But like I said, we're going to do the control arms first, and then we're going to go ahead and then start swapping the mounts over onto the transmission. I'm not really going to film what's going on with the control arms, pretty boring. So I'm just going to get everything mounted up here, and then I'll show you guys what it looks like. Alrighty, so the control arms are out. I pulled everything out as one unit because the sway bar links were kind of like seized in there. They kept spinning. I know I can put vice grips in there and hold it, but my vice grips are completely shot because from doing the rear sway bar links, they chewed up. Anyway, pulled that out as one unit. I'm just going to cut them off with the angle grinder, and then we're going to get the new parts in. Everything is off. I do need to power wash the frame because it is pretty gross, so I'm going to grab my power washer from the backyard and get that done. We have all the new suspension here. I pointed that out in the last video, but this was like 180 bucks Canadian for all this from Amazon, A Premium. I've had good experience with this stuff. I used all that stuff on my Chevy Tracker, which you guys haven't seen yet. But A premium, good stuff. Comes with ball joints, inner tie rods, outer tie rods, sway bar links, all the good stuff that we need to fix the suspension. So pretty much once we get all this installed, we're gonna have a whole front end suspension refresh, especially with the new coilovers on here. I still do need to fix some of the not the dampening, but like the heights on them, because they're a little bit wonky. So I am gonna pull them out and readjust everything. But yeah, so I'm gonna go ahead, slap everything in. I'll show you guys what it looks like. One thing I do need to do is I need to take that mount off, but I can't seem to take it off because the power steering rack is in the way. So I need to figure out something. I don't really want to remove the subframe particularly. So I'm gonna have to see how that mount's gonna come off, because I do need to take it out. Anyway, I'll figure that out, not a big deal. I'm gonna get these control arms in, the tie rods in, everything in, and I'll show you guys what it looks like. All right, so I just spent the last few hours assembling the right side suspension. It took me longer than it needed to because I didn't have the right tool for the inner tie rod. I've been trying to get it out with like a wrench, and there's no room because when it's all the way extended this way, basically when you try to get a wrench in there to break it open, it touches kind of the engine. So there's no really way to have any leverage to get it out. So I have to go out and get a tie rod removal tool and managed to make it work. So everything is on here. I didn't do the other side yet, but the only thing that's not on here is the sway bar links, and the sway bar is still over there chilling. So I mounted everything up. On this side, it's all tight. I mean, I shouldn't really have tightened everything because we do need to put axles in, but I do need to get the car rolling so I can put it back in the garage. This side's still not done. I still do need to do this side. I don't know if I'm going to do that now. I am super tired, but anyway, we'll just transition to when this side is done. All right, I said I was going to transition to when this is done, but we ran into a problem. This long bolt that holds that section of the control arm in is stripped. If the camera will focus, it's stripped at the top. It won't go in. Luckily, the actual frame itself where the threads into is not stripped. I tried it with another bolt and it went all the way through. But of course, that bolt wasn't long enough. So either what I'm going to do is go to the hardware store, pick up a new bolt, or I'm going to try Toyota because Toyota's close by. They might have one in stock. So we're going to have to see. So I got to get a new bolt, and then we'll continue this once I have a new bolt. All right, guys, we made it out to the junkyard. I have a small problem. I found the Corolla that we're looking for, but it said it was manual, but it's automatic. So, but I did find the bolts that we need. I grabbed like 3 of them. So hopefully those work. I'm gonna scavenge around for some more parts for some other Corollas. I'm gonna see if I can find a disc conversion off of a matrix. So let's see if I can find a matrix, grab some calipers. All right, so we're back from the junkyard. Another problem I just found out. I went to go look underneath. I said the thread was fine. It's not, so we're gonna have to get a helicoil or rethread it to get the bolt to go in. So off we go to get a helicoil. All right, so I went to every hardware store in my area possible, and I could not find the correct tap, which is at M14 by 1.5. So I took the old bolt that was stripped, I cut it off where it's stripped and tapered it slightly. You can't really tell, but it is. And I kind of put it in there. I kept going back and forth with the ratchet and the impact. So it did seem to go not all the way through, but I think there's some kind of stopper or something, so it doesn't go all the way through. I'm not too sure, but it looks like it almost went through all the threads. So that's as long as we have all the threads there, then we should be okay. So I'm gonna either use this bolt or the long one. I'm not entirely sure. This one seems to go in a little bit better than the long one. So I'm gonna see right now. I'm gonna throw some thread locker on the long one and try to get this control arm in, and we'll see if it works. All right, so suspension is together. A couple things I do want to point out here. On this side, it looks like this sway bar is actually bent out a little bit. There's a lot of stress on the sway bar link. I'm not sure if I put them in backwards or it's supposed to go the other way around. Not a big deal because I do need to take it out when we upgrade the sway bar. The other thing I want to point out is this bracket that holds the bushings in is bent. You can see there's a little bit of a hole here. It's supposed to be like U-shaped, and it's kind of like oblong now. It's almost like an L shape. So I need to get a new one.
or try to find a used one somewhere. But yeah, pretty straightforward job, honestly. If you guys are interested in knowing how to do this, I know I should have filmed kind of how to do it, but I had nobody to really film because I was doing this all by myself. Pretty straightforward job. One bolt here. You have a bolt here. Well, this one's actually gonna have two bolts. So it's gonna have a nut on here, and then this one's actually a bolt that goes through the frame. This does hold a little brace on, like a cross brace, so you do need to take the nut off of that. And so yeah, one bolt here, a nut and a bolt here, and then the final bolt here, and then it's all off. And then obviously your ball joint, but if you're not changing the ball joints, you could just disconnect them from here, but obviously I changed the ball joints just to freshen up the suspension. On the other side, when we did get the that bolt that I was stuck on for the control arm, it did go in, but it's not like super smooth. So when I get this up on the lift at my work, I'm gonna see how the condition is. I'm gonna pull it out and make sure everything's okay. If it's not, I'm gonna have to find the proper thread, because I went through every hardware store today. I couldn't find the proper thread for it. Yeah, straightforward job. If you're doing it on the left side though, you do need to raise the transmission about like a ½ inch to an inch to get this bolt out, because otherwise you will not be able to get it out. So you do need to raise the transmission. Luckily, we're doing the manual swap, so that's why I did the control arms now while I'm waiting on the parts for the manual swap. That way it's easier to get out because there's this much more room. So yeah, pretty straightforward job, guys. Not too hard, except the fact that that bolt gave me a problem for about a day. Anyway, this is all aligned as well. No, not aligned, but like it's eyeball aligned. So what you do for that is you kind of just take your seatbelt, just wrap it around the steering wheel and buckle it in, keep it straight. And that's gonna get you a little bit better of an alignment when you go to drive the car, so you're not driving with the wheel all crooked. But yeah, we are all done for now. All right, well, that's gonna wrap it up for today's video, guys. I really hope you guys enjoyed as much as I did not enjoy it. Goddamn. Left side was a little bit of a pain. Right side went together super smoothly, other than that one little bracket. Few other things we need to do over the next couple videos is we need to get the this brace all cleaned up. So this brace down here is covered in grime and dirt. That needs to get cleaned up. The other thing I need to do is start working on getting the clutch pedal and the brake pedal in. Those are chilling on the ground there. These are actually from my IS300. So they're nicely, I got the pads, original Toyota pads. We're gonna try to retrofit those in the car. I am waiting on the clutch kit and the axles, and I'm gonna go to the junkyard tomorrow to try to find a 1ZZ flywheel, because apparently I need a 1ZZ flywheel and not a 2ZZ flywheel. Kind of makes sense, it's going onto a 1ZZ engine, but the transmission from a 2ZZ. So I'm going to try to find that flywheel tomorrow. Hopefully I get some of the things done. I'm going to get some ARP flywheel bolts, and I'm going to actually order all the bolts that are required for the transmission for the swap. I'm going to get poly mounts to make it a little bit stiffer, much more performance oriented. So yeah, that's going to be it for today, guys. Until the next video, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Catch you in the next one. Peace.